evening, folks, and welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with the Old Wolf. So this evening I was sitting here doing something or other when all of a sudden I came over all peckish. Instead of heading for the cheese shop, I decided let's not make something indescribably nasty like we did last time. Instead, let's make something quick, supremely easy, and insanely good. The first thing that came to mind is possibly the most celebrated treat in all of literary history, the Madeleine. These take about 5 minutes to mix and 15 minutes to cook, and there are only 6 ingredients. The trickiest part is simply having the fluted molds. Fortunately, these are available at any number of places on the internet, including modern Teflon-coated ones. My molds come from a beloved, elegant, and very French lady from the village of Loyac in Bretagne. Before passing away, she also honored me with her family recipe. The 6 ingredients I mentioned are 4 eggs, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 1 cup of white flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 pound butter, and some salt. I've got 4 eggs already cracked into this bowl, and I happen to use cage-free eggs because I don't like working in a cubicle, and I can't imagine a chicken would either. My butter has been allowed to come to room temperature, and I've pre-measured the powdered sugar and the flour into these bowls here. I'm assuming we all know how to operate a measuring cup. As you can see, this is not rocket science. One caveat: please do not try to make these with margarine. That would be like trying to make a fast food burger with real ingredients. Let's stay consistent, folks. If you're going to make crap, use plastic. But if you want a simple but decadent treat, do it right. Now, there's another reason as well, and that's margarine is simply nasty from a health standpoint. With the exception of a couple of products from Spectrum that are getting harder and harder to find these days, I would gladly trade a bit of saturated fat for the partially hydrogenated chemical soup that most margarines consist of. I've already got my oven preheated to 375 degrees because these delights take such little time to prepare. Since my molds are not Teflon coated, I've also prepared them with a very light dusting of cooking spray to help the cakes release. So here we go, putting the powdered sugar and the flour into the mixing bowl. Adding 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a little bit of salt. I have these cute little measuring spoons that are a dash, a pinch, and a smidgen. And so I'm going to use a dash of salt. And then the butter just goes right in there as well. Then we'll get our mixer, and we will mix these up. And there's our batter. Now, some people like to put this batter into a pastry decorator and inject the molds, but in our case we're just going to use a spoon. It's less cleanup. So once you have your batter made, you just want to fill up each mold to the top with batter. And we'll go ahead and fill up 2 sets of molds, and these are going to make 24 Madeleines. So here are our molds all filled up. You may find once you put the batter in that you need to even them out a little bit, and that's normal unless you do happen to be using an injector. So now that they're filled, we'll just go ahead and put them in the oven. And we'll set our timer for 15 minutes. And as soon as those beep, we'll take them out. The only other trick to making Madeleines is once you've got them in the oven, don't open the door until the 15 minutes are up. So, Our timer has rung and our treats are ready. Don't those look good? Put the others over there, and we're going to let these cool for about 5 to 10 minutes before we take them out of the molds. Our molds are cool, and so at this point we can just take the Madeleines out of the molds with a knife, and they just tend to pop right out. We'll put them on a plate. And the last little piece of delectability is I like to take a little powdered sugar and just add them to the top, because if you're going to do it right, you might as well do it right. In for a penny, in for a pound, that's what I say. So there we have Madeleines. And as you're finishing up the crumbs of one of these in a spoonful of tea, and you happen to be struck by an irrepressible urge to write 7 autobiographical novels and become a millionaire, please don't forget to share the royalties with me. So until next time, this is the Old Wolf wishing you bon appetit.
Oh.